So Porsha Williams just sat down and gave an exclusive interview to People magazine that has to have production of Real Housewives of Atlanta spitting mad. Because while she may have phoned it in for them by walking away when things got heated or denying her own culpability in situations, she gave 210% for People, even at one point turning on the waterworks while she mourned having to leave the fantasy romance that she and Simon had after she snatched that man from his wife.
Girl, fantasy is right, okay? Fantasy is right, because I'm telling you, not only is she talking about a fairy tale that never fairy tale,
right?
Okay?
What?
She's talking about thinking she is Angela Bassett's character
Oh my God.
in Waiting to Exhale. No.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Bernadine was married for several years, and that man did her wrong all the way up and down. Meanwhile, in the article, Porsha even says that there was no infidelity between the two of them, although Simon had something different to say in his documents. But Porsha was saying there was no infidelity. It just, she saw a look in his eyes one day and she knew that he wasn't in the marriage no more. Okay, child.
Girl. Okay. Oh, yeah. She saw that look all right, because when they came to talk about some other papers that she was trying to get handled, there was that look. And I have my own opinions about what was going on there, because it's like, look, you thought you were playing him, but that look he gave you was you seeing that, oh, this ninja was playing me.
Exactly.
That's just my own opinion about that, okay? Because that was something that was profound what she said there.
Right.
That she looked at him and she saw something different.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, no, y'all played each other.
Exactly. So that wasn't giving Bernadine. So even though she's walking around doing this whole Waiting to Exhale cosplay situation here, no, you weren't Bernadine in this situation.
No, that was not Bernadine. And honey, as far as girl, bye. I'm thinking that being the case, because the good point you brought up concerning her giving all this exclusive to People magazine.
Exactly.
When this is something that she had promised Bravo.
Exactly.
And they didn't get it.
Nope.
And at every chance she could, she skipped out on various things. It was like, now she's sitting up here spilling all this to People magazine when the show could have had this.
Exactly.
I'm thinking like there is a girl bad, because I don't know if production's too happy about that.
Right. And they couldn't possibly be happy about that at all, because a lot of the stuff that she said in the interview, she could have really done on the show, because she didn't give that many particulars about the details of the divorce. So she could have gone into certain things like her emotions, how she was feeling, all that.
We could have gotten that.
Exactly. But she didn't even do that. It was like, girl, I don't even know what she thought she was doing. But it's giving, it's giving girl back.
It's giving girl
and
back.
And she knows it.
Yeah. Like you were saying that she's trying to get this influencer thing down, because it's as if she knows that she may not be, and this sort of coincides with, it's like, girl, we see you went out here and did this whole People magazine article and didn't give RHOA anything.
Exactly.
Not even an emotion concerning that. I mean, there was a point whereas they could have filmed outside, since they weren't allowed to do it inside the house. They could have filmed outside with her talking on the phone to her mom about how she was feeling about what she was going through at that particular time. That would have shared something with RHOA about the divorce situation. But she didn't give anything, and she had promised these people, girl.
Exactly. She tried to address it somewhat in the article. She said that Simon made it difficult for her to be transparent. He sent a cease and desist to the show, filed a defamation lawsuit against her, and prevented her from filming in their home. And she said she gave updates, but when it came to the real dark side of it, she shied away from it. The things that were happening on the show, they really aren't connected to who she is. She's not saying it's not real, but that's like a small part of her reality. She watched the show and she's like, I filmed that? I said that? I did that? What viewers didn't see was that she never left her room. She was so depressed and she couldn't move. She spent a lot of time crying it out. So this is what she gave People magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And do you see how she's distancing herself from the show?
Yes.
Talking about that's just a small part of my reality. I'm not saying it's not real, but I mean, that's just not it. That's not it. Like, I can't even believe the stuff that's coming out of my mouth when I'm on that show.
Girl.
I did that. I said that. Who said that? Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Like, she is really distancing herself from them. It's like she knew when she started filming what she was going to end up doing. It's crazy the way she threw them under the bus, because we talked about it before too, when after she made that comment about Angela's husband, and she went and responded to one of the fans who said, girl, you're mean here, what's going on? You're giving mean girl energy. And she was like, well, they're editing it that way. I wish you could see the full reality and not just half of it. So she was saying that editing Real Housewives of Atlanta was painting her as a bully. And she's basically been throwing them under the bus ever since she came back.
That's what she was implying. Mm-hmm. Yes, she was. And another thing concerning this fantasy marriage that she thought in her own mind that she had. Girl, because look, my thing is, I'm not surprised by this divorce. Mm-hmm. I'm just surprised that it happened so quickly. I am surprised it happened so quickly, because here's the fantasy of it all. It's no way that was going to end up the way she, in her mind, in her own fantasy mind, thought it was going to end up, which I don't even see how she is saying that. Because first of all, this man was already married. Yeah. Okay? Exactly. And we know what that means, okay? Exactly. And she wants to make it clear that, that wasn't the case, they didn't know. But no, this man was already married. Mm-hmm. This man's wife brought you into her home. Yeah. You were introduced to her husband.
That's funny. People magazine tried to throw shade like she met him through his ex on the show.
Exactly. That's what I saw. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. People magazine is throwing shade. Mm-hmm. And this is who you decide to spill it all to. They said in that article, she met Simon through his wife on the show. I'm like, whoa. Mm-hmm. So, what I was saying is like, Porsha, girl, how are you thinking that this is some sort of fantasy romance, and the way you got this man, that never ends up right. Exactly. It never comes out right, because you just can't do that. Exactly. Period.
Exactly. It's almost hurtful to me to watch her be so dumb.
It's so interesting, because another thing that she told People magazine was that they were so connected. Her and Simon were so connected, and they talked to each other about everything. And how was she supposed to deal with not being able to speak with the person that she went to bed with every night and told all her secrets to, and he told her all his secrets, and just trying to say how much in love they were, and they would fly here and there, and they were just so open and public about the love that they share and all of that stuff.
People weren't seeing it like that.
No one saw it like that at all.
I mean, no.
Meanwhile, you have Real Housewives of Atlanta production trying to throw shade at Angela Oakley's marriage to Charles, because he's not effusive. But these people have been married for over 8 years without Charles love bombing her every 5 seconds. Meanwhile, Porsha, who was love bombed, as they say, the marriage over in 15 months.
Exactly.
So all that, he's not showing affection. He don't say he loved her in public. He not kissing on her in public. He not doing all this. Angela knows where it counts that Charles loves her.
Oh yeah, you talking about where it counts. that man is footing that bill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's putting his money where his love is. All right.
Exactly.
We've all seen the things that Angela is going through, and I really feel for her, and she's been very open about what she's going through with the real estate situation. But this man has come in and he has covered his wife.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
That's what a man does. That's your protection, okay? He has protected her.
Mm-hmm.
He has covered her. So, no, they trying to throw shade on that, but no, they can't do that, and trying so much so in that they are once again putting Phaedra up to her old tricks again with this stuff.
Yeah, because we did that poll on our channel, and most everybody says that it's Phaedra who was behind that man confronting Angela at Kelly's waffle event. And Angela came out and said it herself. She did that interview on Carlos King's podcast.
Yeah.
And she said that when she and Drew had to sit down with this dude, he told her that it was Phaedra. Not only did he end up telling her, they had some connections. His sister and Phaedra's brother went to the same high school together. Were friends in high school. They come from the same town in Georgia.
Wow.
Like, it was so many connections that they had. And it was just so odd, the energy that Phaedra gave off as soon as she came onto the show. She knew nothing about Angela from what she even said. Matter of fact, that was part of one of her little one-liners, that she didn't know Angela. She was Charles Oakley's secret wife or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you don't know this woman, why are you immediately coming with the shade for her? Trying to talk about how she looks? There is nothing old looking about Angela. Angela is a sophisticated beauty. She's not walking around here looking like somebody done experimented on her face with makeup.
Oh.
Angela is sophisticated, classy, and she gives this mature vibe.
Girl, Phaedra opens her mouth and everybody sees immediately where she's coming from.
Exactly.
Okay? This was a very, very low thing that she did, and it is not going to pay off for her, because I knew that she was responsible for it the minute she left the gathering and was so in a hurry to get on the phone and tell Porsha and the rest of the girls that this man had approached Angela. I said, no, something's fishy about that.
Right.
Something's real fishy. And then the guilt she was feeling with sitting out there in the car talking about it. Saying, let me get out of here before somebody run up on her.
Exactly.
And I'm like, girl, you moving shady, you moving funny.
Yeah.
Something isn't right here. And it doesn't surprise me that she is the one. And all of our commenters, they said, yeah.
Exactly.
They knew too. They're smart.
And Angela said that she was disappointed to find out that it was her, because she had actually even sought her advice as a newbie on the show.
Yep.
And so she said that when she found out it was her, she felt like that behavior was so devious. And basically, Phaedra was playing right in her face.
Playing in her face, girl.
Exactly. And you know what? I just find it interesting that it's the same old tricks, because we talked about what happened between Phaedra supposedly giving Porsha the information about Candy and all that whole thing that went down, I think, in season 9.
Same tricks.
And then now here we go, and we kind of have the script being flipped a little bit, because now you got someone who Porsha has a little tiff with in the background. She was feeling some kind of way about Angela and her marriage. And Porsha's marriage at the time was going through the whatever, and what they say, that misery loves company. So she's looking at how Charles is there for his wife. He actually has legitimate money and things like that.
Exactly.
And she's looking at Angela, seeing all this, seeing this beautiful woman. She
saw
her,
exactly.
and she felt some kind of way, because her life was spiraling at the time, when she thought she was going to be in forever.
Yeah.
And so then now here comes Phaedra, and the like I said, the script is flipped, because before, Phaedra was whispering in Porsha's ear, supposedly telling her all this stuff about Candy.
Right.
But now, is it a possibility Porsha whispering in Phaedra's ear, gassing her up, winding her up to go and do this stuff against Angela?
Yes, exactly. Sheer jealousy.
Yep.
That's what it was, because I'm telling you, you can't get away from that foul stuff she said about doing that to Charles.
Mm-hmm.
That will always be there. You can't get away from that. That was a foul comment to make.
Exactly. And that's what Angela was saying too in that interview. She said that shows someone's character traits. She likes Porsha. She has no problem with Porsha, but that showed something was going on with her character. And when asked if, she would ever have her over to her house or them being friends, she's like, she has no problem trying to develop a relationship with someone, but that is something that's just always going to be there, because that's the space that Porsha created when she made that comment. Even if it was in play, she shouldn't have said
you don't play
it's
like
some
that.
things you just don't play
There
around
are some
with.
things you don't play with. And someone said not to let Porsha over to their house with their husband.
Yeah,
okay.
Britt said that. Kelly revealed that.
Mm-hmm. She revealed that, and it's like, hey, that's serious.
Mm-hmm.
These people mean that.
Yep.
And then for her to take some sort of gloating in the fact that she thinks that she can steal another woman's husband.
Yep.
Just because we've seen it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like she doesn't want people to think, oh, I didn't get with Simon while he was still married. But at the same time, the implication is that you can steal people's husbands. That was right out of her own mouth.
Period.
That was her implication in that, before she... So you have put that out there, girl, that this is what you do?
Exactly.
You can steal people's husband?
Right.
You put that out there.
Yeah. She saw how Charles was showing up for Angela, even though he's not that type of person. Charles wasn't getting paid to be on this show, but every event, even if he was the only husband there, Charles was there for Angela.
Exactly.
Even to the point that he showed up for the reunion.
Girl.
And meanwhile, Porsha was dealing with the man that took legal action against her, saying you can't even film in her house.
Girl.
You see the dichotomy, and it was like, that jealousy, that envy, that thing in Porsha that she doesn't feel that she's enough rose up inside of her. And when she saw all that stuff that Angela was able to have, but she wasn't having anymore.
And now here we are, throwing shade and trying to mess with this girl's marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you said, it's something inside of Porsha that she feels she's not enough.
Right.
And girl, it's time to get over that.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all.
All right, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.